I'm going to start by calling the roll. Chair Parker is present. Councilmember Allen is present. Vice Chair Hauser is present. Councilmember Mendez present. Councilmember Sepulveda is present. Councilmember Sledge, I saw somewhere. Hi. Thank you. Present. Councilmember Suara is present. Councilmember Taylor is present. Did I see Councilmember Toombs? Okay, I'll put an asterisk. She'll probably walk back in at some point. And Councilmember Welsh present. So we've got 9 present. Okay, we've got 2 items on the agenda. We're going to start with BL 2021-971. This was deferred for a long length of time, and therefore it is deferred by rule. Is that correct, Director Darby? Thank you. So this is deferred by rule, so we won't, if we'd like comment from, we don't want comment. So this will come back next meeting. Okay, Councilmember O'Connell, you're recognized for a brief comment on the deferral of this legislation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to reference that we've workshopped this with both the Continuum of Care and Homelessness Planning Council as well as the Barnes Fund Commission, and I think the feedback I've gotten from those 2 groups and other stakeholders who have weighed in has led to a substitute. So everyone will see that when this actually is scheduled to get heard. So you'll see that by our next meeting.
Thanks. We'll be looking out for that substitute. Okay. So we'll take no action on that. Or do we need to recommend a deferral, Director Darby?
You do not.
It's by rule. I'm fine with this committee not making a recommendation on that. Next item on the agenda, BL 2022-1170 by Allen, Sledge, Van Rees, and others, authorizes the Health and Educational Facilities Board to accept payments in lieu of ad valorem taxes from its lessees operating mixed-income multifamily housing facilities, including housing for low and moderate income persons, and approving the program for determining qualifications and eligibility for such payments. Do we have a motion on 1170? Moved, and can I get a second? Thank you. Moved and seconded properly. I'll begin by going to the bill's lead sponsor, Councilmember Allen. I know we have some folks, some departmental folks here as well, but I'll go ahead to Councilmember Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a tool that was recommended by the Affordable Housing Task Force, and I am going to go to Director Angie Hubbard and Hannah Davis to explain the intricacies of this, and they'll let them explain it. And also, I have just put some math on people's tables. If people like to see numbers while we're talking about money, I have a chart and then also shows one example. So that should be on everyone's desk as well. But with that, I'll turn it over to Director Hubbard.
Thank you. Just briefly, I have another, Councilmember Mendez, are you all right with letting the departmental folks speak? Okay, thank you. If we could go to Ms. Angie Hubbard. You can join us up here. You can grab that microphone, whichever you feel comfortable with. Let me turn you on. You should be active.
Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
As Council Lady Allen stated, this is a new and exciting tool, one of many that we need to have coming to address the affordability issue in Nashville. Some of the big overarching goals of this particular tool is to encourage affordability where we would not otherwise get it. So this is targeting the opportunity to create mixed income housing in areas of town where we will see development through market rate developers, but we wouldn't really get affordability without this particular tool. And we are looking at targeting different levels of affordability, and the abatement then would correspond depending on how deep that affordability piece goes. The benefits of doing an abatement in this regard are to ensure that we do have that long-term affordability, at least 15 years, with an opportunity to extend that affordability. And then it's also not dependent upon an annual appropriation, so we are creating that housing security for tenants in these buildings, these occupants, and then we're able to introduce compliance mechanisms through this use of abatement. We have some unique features that we haven't introduced in previous abatement programs, and that is one, the different levels of abatement that we're offering so that we can get deeper ranges of affordability. But we're also going to be requiring the developers to do affirmative marketing and submitting that to us, and what that is they'll need to develop a plan on how they will market these affordable units to people that would otherwise not know about them or have access to them. And as we develop a resident portal, which you'll hear us talk about down the road, they'll have to list these units on there so that people that are interested in affordable housing opportunities have the access that they need to know that these exist. And then Hannah Davis is available to speak to some of the technicalities of this legislation. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Ms.
If there are any questions, or we can just go there since we've got time, and then Hannah can answer specific technical questions.
Okay. Do you say you want to go over to the folks in the queue or go straight to Hannah now? Okay. All right, we're going to work through the queue now. Thank you so much for that explanation. We've got first up Councilmember Bob Mendez. Councilmember Mendez.
Thanks. My first question is for Director Darby. And I was traveling, so I might have just missed it. I haven't had a lot of time to look through this. In the analysis, it talks about limited to $3 million annually. I can't find that. I should be able to find it in the legislation. I can't manage to find it. Can you point where that cap is?
Oh, apologies. You should be on.
I believe the cap is listed in the program guide, which is the attachment to the resolution or ordinance, sorry.
And is that binding, like it's at 3 million unless council changes it?
Yes, it would be. Yes, it isn't, yes.
And sorry, it's 3 million per year, right?
It's 3 million per year, yes.
So after 5 years, there could be a cumulative $15 million worth of abatement?
Yes.
And then,
yes.
So I've got some pet peeves with the Health and Educational Facilities Board, which just to make sure they're out there. It's not really, it's not part of Metro, right?
That is correct. It's created by, it's created separately from Metro, but it is set up to be a public instrumentality for the metropolitan government.
Right, so it's like MDHA, it's a creature of state law, and the only oversight that we've got as a city is our appointment of their board.
Yes, and you'll recall that their board members are nominated and elected by this body.
Right, and so over the years, so this has been a captive organization formed by the Stokes and Bartholomew law firm in the 1970s, and Stokes and their successor law firm, Adam and Reese, has been the lawyers for the Health and Education Facilities Board since the early 70s till now. As far as I know, they've never bid out the legal work. There are no files, not a single file that the metropolitan government has on this board. They're all retained at Adams and Reese. Am I right about that?
I can answer. I see Councilmember Allen wanted to say something. There are, yes, the law firm handles all of their work. There are some things that come through Metro. For instance, when they do a bond issue, the mayor's office has to give approval to that bond, for that bond issue.
But this isn't an organization where anybody who's a Metro employee maintains agendas, minutes, a website, electronic files, post things for public meetings in advance. It's all handled by Adams and Reese.
I believe it is handled by Adams and Reese. They have been posting their meetings through Metro's website.
Since this body forced them to do it with a public records request a few years ago, is how that happened. So this is one of those things where I say I'm term limited in 16 months. The idea of taking out of the, before you get to the operating budget, what could be accumulating $3 million per year. So 10 years from now, it could be $30 million worth of money that never even makes it into the budget for us to appropriate ever again is bothersome to me. You guys have heard me complain that we're creating a lot of programs that pull money out of the tree before it ever gets to the operating budget, and I don't really care for that approach, and I specifically don't care for a captive board of Adams and Reese for 40-some years that is not very transparent, and the only transparency they've got shoved down their throats a few years ago. I really don't like them making the decision. There's one other thing. No Metro legal lawyer gives any advice to the Health and Educational Facility Board, right?
Not directly.
All right.
The legal department does, like I said,
on the bond issuances.
And that's what the board does. So the bond issuances that come through, the Metro legal department does review those and they review them for the purposes of the mayor approval.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I've got Councilmember Emily Benedict next in the queue. Give me one moment. You're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. I especially appreciate being recognized as I'm not a member of this committee. This is a tool that I signed on to co-sponsor right away as soon as it came out, because this is something that's really going to benefit District 7. There is currently a 200-unit Section 8 development that is slated and has been communicated for about a year and a half now that it will become 750 market rate unit apartments. This is a tool that I've been looking at, hoping to have, and then I found out Councilmember Allen was working on this through the council office, obviously, and I'm just very in support of this bill. Again, I'm not on this committee, but this is something that will allow East Nashvillians who are in that low-income development today, it will allow them to stay in the area. Now, what I view this as is, let's hypothetically say that property is bringing in $100,000 worth of tax revenue today, and once it changes from what it is today to what they're planning it to be, hypothetically, let's say it's going to provide $750,000 worth of tax revenue for the city, property tax revenue. If we're able to give them an abatement, let's say of $300,000. Again, I'm making up numbers right now as I sit here, but these are real numbers that do work based on property value increases. Let's say we give a $300,000 tax abatement. We now are, instead of getting $100,000, we're laying out, what did I say, 450,000? Pardon me, 400, sorry, let me start the math over again. If we get collecting $100,000 worth of tax revenue, let's use simpler math. 500,000 is the increased value, so we've picked up $400,000. Let's hypothetically say we give $200,000 worth of tax abatement towards affordable units to that developer, then we get to keep those units for X number of years, 20 years, whatever we decide in that program that gets approved by whichever board is the right one to approve it. We end up picking up additional tax revenue while providing affordable units, whether that's 80 to 120% AMI or whatever it is that tax abatement will equal, so that we can get people in affordable units, not in concentrated poverty, but rather lower AMI mixed in with market rate. That's the best way to lift folks out of poverty, and that's what I see this happening in District 7 specifically. So I view this as a good thing. I think the math makes sense. I know we're not in budget and finance, but I think it's a great tool for us to keep affordable housing. Again, in my district, we've got 200 units going away potentially in 750 market rate apartments, or we could say 550 market rate apartments and 200 based on whatever abatement we could get. So I think that's an important math equation as we look at this, that this tool really gives us to help us with Nashvillians. Thank you. Thank you again, Chair, for entertaining me.
Absolutely. I saw Councilmember Allen, and then I've got Councilmember Suara after that. Councilmember Allen, will return to you as the lead sponsor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to address some Councilmember Mendez's concerns. I appreciate his close attention to our being good stewards of our limited resources. We've been working on this tool for, I would say, I've been working on it for probably 2 years, and I have worked my way through MDHA trying to change state law so that they could run this program, because they can also do pilots, but not unless, only if there's a LIHTC in use. So state law was not, the state legislature, surprisingly, was not cooperative, and so we were not able to do that. Then we thought we'd be able to use the Industrial Development Board, but it turns out that our council found a small section somewhere that says IDB can use pilots, but not for apartment buildings. And so of the three entities, instrumentalities that can do pilots, the HEFB was the only one left. But what's important is that this will be overseen by the Director of Housing, which we've now created. And not only will they be overseeing it, but they will be issuing annual reports, which deals with the transparency issue, which I think is very important. So we will have a mechanism for annual information on that, which and that's also spelled out in the program. So I think those are important things to be aware of. And to build on what Councilmember Benedict has said, housing is, to quote some of the many housing advocates, housing is, it's healthcare, it's stability, it's keeping kids in the same school, the economic benefits that come back from allowing a stable place for people to live, I believe will more than pay for itself in taxes that we will not be getting for that amount of time that we also wouldn't be getting if the project weren't built. So none of this is taking away from the tax base that we currently have. This is all an abatement of new taxes that are added and taking part of that towards housing. The rest of it can then go towards schools and public safety and other important public goods. So I believe this is an important tool, and I appreciate Director Hubbard figuring out the interesting tiered approach that we're using so that we can have lots of different flavors of it. I would appreciate everyone's support.
Thank you, Councilmember. Let's see, we have Councilmember Suara in the queue. Councilmember Suara, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. I want to speak in favor of the bill. The idea to use this board actually came when I started working on it, not knowing that Councilman Barlin is, and it was Senator Gilmore that found the loophole for me when I was looking at it in terms of what can we do to help with housing. What I want everybody to understand is that the current pilots that we have only work with non-for-profit developers, and so there's only a limited number of non-for-profit developers, and the amount of housing that we can create is limited because of that. This tool allows us to expand the field and allows the people that can take advantage of it, and like everyone else has already said, allow us to put more housing out there and to also generate taxes. We'll give some of it away, but we'll keep some of it. So overall, housing is critical in Nashville. We have to keep looking at ways to mitigate this housing crisis, and this is a very good tool, and I ask for your approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Suara. I have one quick question for staff, either Hannah or Director Hubbard, Ms. Davis or Director Hubbard. We talk about, the $3 million per year cap up to that can be issued. What do we expect? What can we expect in terms of unit count? Do you have any sort of projections about what we're hoping to accomplish here with that? Oh, sorry. You should be on now.
Yes, thank you, Chair. That will obviously vary. I've played with a lot of different financial scenarios, and since folks can choose from one of the three tiers, which would then determine the level of abatement they get, and then also depends on what their current assessment is, it will depend a little bit, but projected about 300 units.
Excellent. Okay. Any other questions? Councilmember Hurt, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for recognizing me, considering that I'm not on this committee. But I was just wondering, of those 300 units, what percentage will be for low to moderate income families?
All of them.
I believe they are all income restricted. That's the that's sort of the deal to get the tax abatement in the first place.
Okay.
And there's different tiers. I don't have the specifics. We could go to staff if you'd like to. If you can briefly explain the.
But I think it said something about it'll be up to 50% of AMI, and I'm just concerned about it in terms of the amount because, the median income now they said is about $80,000 for a household, and our low to moderate income families don't make that kind of money. So I'm wondering who's really going to occupy these homes, because I know what it may say, and all of it may be that it's for the low to moderate income, but sometimes we do some funny things with the messaging and what we think it's going to be. In the end, it turns out being something different. And I'm just wondering if that's going to work. If a student that comes out of college and starts a job as a teacher, would they qualify for this? And be able to afford it?
Sure. Yeah, those are great questions. I mean, we famously have one of the wealthiest zip codes in the nation in our metropolitan statistical area, which makes things a little bit skewed when we talk about low-income Nashvillians and who qualifies. But I was wondering if either the lead sponsor or if staff could address sort of the breakdown in the different tiers of the program.
Thank you, Chair. On the second page of the exhibit, we list the various levels of the abatement. So to get the maximum level of abatement means that a developer would have to require deeper affordability or include deeper affordability. We're particularly targeting a percent of units available to people at 50% or below of the area median income. And for a single person, that would be $29,550. And then it scales up depending on the size of the household. You will see we actually cap the affordability at 75% or below of the AMI, and the reason we did that is when we talk about area median income, that includes our surrounding counties, and so that makes our average area median income for Davidson a little higher. So we scaled it down to 75% of the area median income for the metropolitan statistical area, so we could actually hit people that really need this housing in that income range.
Thank you for that explanation. Any other questions or discussion regarding this? Okay, we've got a motion to approve before us. We'll try this by voice. Turn myself off there. All those in favor of recommending the legislation, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? I have one opposed. Any not voting or abstaining? Okay, thank you. All right, well, that concludes the business of the Affordable Housing Committee. Budget is up next. Thank you all.